Hello and welcome back to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel, where of course we're giving you all the latest news, views and opinions on all things Albion. Back again with another transfer update. And you may be thinking, Louis, why are you doing a Baggies Podcast transfer update whilst the transfer window shut? And the answer is because we've signed another new player. It's Kean Bryan, who's joined us following the expiration of his contract and being released as a free agent by Sheffield United. The centre-back joins us on a free transfer. We'll be discussing all the details of the deal in this video. Also, what he can bring to the club and his attributes that he can bring to an injury-plagued back three of Valérien Ismaël's West Bromwich Albion. So we'll be talking all about that today. But before we get into that, make sure you subscribe to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel, aiming for 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Your subscription will really help. It's free, basically. Just means you get our videos a bit quicker and a bit more speedily into your inbox than if you weren't subscribed. So make sure you do that. Make sure you comment your thoughts on the Kean Bryan transfer below. And let's get straight into this video all about Kean Bryan, Albion's new signing. So let's get straight into this video all about Kean Bryan, Albion's brand new signing. Looking forward to seeing what he can offer as he looks to add a bit of strength in depth to Albion's back line, which has been a little bit injury plagued over recent weeks, as we well know. Obviously, Matt Clark out with an injury for a little while, hopefully means that he'll be coming back soon. But Dara O'Shea, during the international break, got an injury which meant that he's going to be out for 4 to 6 months, which is a huge amount of time, meaning that strength in depth in the centre-back position has been slightly weakened, but slightly strengthened, I think, with the signing of Kean Bryan, who joins on a 2-year deal to the Hawthorns after being released from Sheffield United. He made 13 appearances for Sheffield United in the Premier League last season before leaving Bramall Lane in the summer. He's 24 years old, so still a little bit of development time and not quite reached his prime in terms of a centre-back. But he really does strengthen Valérien Ismaël's defensive options following those injuries to Matt Clark and Dara O'Shea. Of course, played some games in the Premier League. I think he actually played against West Brom for Sheffield United last season, which is pretty interesting. But I think it's quite important now more than ever to bring in that transfer. However, it doesn't lead me to beg the question why that transfer wasn't done earlier. Surely you know that there are going to be injuries that happen, but maybe with the guarantee of more playing time, Kean Bryan is more open to moving to the Hawthorns. But yeah, I think what Valérien Ismaël said was pretty reasonable. He said that he's got the same profiles as a defender as Dara O'Shea has. He's very aggressive, fast centre-back who is good in the build-up, is young and wants to learn and has experience, so his profile is very good for us. The main difference is that he's left-footed, and with Matt Clark out, this was an opportunity to sign a player who can sit on the left side of our back three. It's important to balance our team to have left-footed players in left-sided positions. Now we need Kean to build into the squad and the team. He didn't have a normal pre-season, so we need to manage him, and at the same time we will need him in the game, so we need to find the right balance. So Kean Bryan, obviously going to come in and play that left-sided centre-back role. Obviously he can play left wing-back. I've seen him play left wing-back for Sheffield United. I think that may have been where he played for against Albion last season, so that's going to be quite interesting to see how he slots in that left centre-back position. From what I've seen of him, I don't think he's the tallest centre-back from what I've seen of Kean Bryan. I think he's relatively small, to be quite honest. It's good to have somebody who's very versatile in terms of Kean Bryan. Obviously, going to provide some useful cover in that defensive position, I think. So that's going to be pretty decent. I think he's just 6 foot, maybe just below 6 foot for Kean Bryan. So yeah, I think it is relatively small for a centre back, but I think he's going to provide a bit of difference in the back line, because obviously he's been used to playing overlapping centre backs under the manager Chris Wilder at Sheffield United. Obviously not quite there. Not been there for a little while. However, I think Chris Wilder, got him used to playing those overlapping centre backs. I'm not sure that's something that Valérien Ismaël will want to or look to do in any way, shape or form. But I think it's going to be quite interesting to see how he is implemented. Is he just going to be asked to just head kick defend, or is he going to be asked to get a bit more forward, get involved? From what Sheffield United fans have thought about him, I think it's a bit of a split opinion. I think lots of them say that there's a very good Championship defender there, but just not good enough for the Premier League. So potentially this is quite interesting for Kean Bryan as to where he's actually going to fit in the squad. If you've watched the video about Kean Bryan, I highly recommend you go and do so, about how he talks about himself. So he describes himself as an aggressive left-footed defender and wants to get forward. He likes to get stuck in and played in numerous positions during his career, but now he sees himself as the left-sided centre-back. He can also slot in at left back when needed, but he wants to improve himself as a centre back. He says the gaffer's really nice and the lads have said he's hard on the training pitch, but it's all worth it. He welcomed me and told me that I need to get up to speed in terms of fitness tactics and what they want from me and the pitch and around the building. I'm confident that I can get up to full fitness quickly. I've spoken to the fitness guys and they think I'm in good shape. It's just a case of trying to get a week of training into my legs to get back on the ball. Kept fit in the summer, but it's not the same as playing matches, and he wants to get back to playing as soon as possible. So whether we'll see him against Millwall this weekend is remains to be seen, maybe on the bench or something, but I can't see him getting a full appearance, to be quite honest. Can't really see him getting a start at all. I think it's probably going to be Cedric Kipre who's going to have to slot into that back line with both of them injuries coming in. Obviously going to be quite interesting to see. But Kean Bryan will provide a boost to Albion's defence after signing a 2-year deal at the Hawthorns. So, essentially, he was born in Manchester and he started in the Man City Academy in 2008 and he transitioned into a defensive role after playing in midfield for most of his time. He skippered City's development sides in recent years and he's played at Bury and Oldham Athletic, amassing 50 appearances and winning the Young Player of the Season award at Oldham Athletic as well. Following those two successful loan spells, Bryan departed Manchester permanently in pursuit of first-team football with Sheffield United, and he made his debut in a FA Cup clash with Barnet. However, he went on loan to Bolton, then made his top-flight debut against West Bromwich Albion. So that was his top-flight debut that I remember at the Hawthorns. Although he couldn't help the Blades avoid relegation, the City Academy graduate made 13 appearances and enjoyed a memorable moment when he netted his first Premier League goal in a 2-1 win against Manchester United. So he's looking to almost progress his career properly, perhaps get into the first team and really start to find his own really in a team, because obviously Sheffield United 14 appearances in the Premier League isn't great, I suppose, for a centre-back in a 3-back formation for large parts of Chris Wilder's reign. To not get many appearances obviously wasn't a first choice, but did play a bit of left wing-back and kind of overlapping, I remember, in that game for Albion. But I think he's going to provide a really decent decent perspective really for Albion as to how he's going to work. Obviously, he could be overlapping. Can't see him doing that, but I can see him really pushing up to the halfway line and hopefully using his ball playing abilities, because if he's overlapping centre back, he's obviously got the ability to play in those positions and to play in those ball playing areas. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Kean Bryan can bring to the club. Obviously, a very good player, probably at Championship level. Obviously, hasn't had the chance to test himself at Championship level just yet. However, I believe he's going to provide a really good test for Albion and bring in a new perspective really in the left-sided centre-back position. Obviously, Matt Clark out injured, which is a bit difficult because that means we've got no left-sided centre-backs until Kean Bryan joined. I just wish we'd have perhaps signed him a few weeks earlier if we knew that this was going to obviously Matt Clark's injury was quite big and well documented, so obviously we knew that we needed a bit of cover in that position. But yeah, it's a shame to see that we've left it a bit late, to be honest. Obviously, it'd be nice to see Kean Bryan get a bit more game time and then come into the side for then. So yeah, I think Kean Bryan is going to be an interesting signing, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can bring to the club. Obviously going to provide a good ball playing ability, maybe not as physical as perhaps some think, maybe he's willing to get stuck in, but obviously he's not the biggest player. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can bring. He can slot in at left wing back and left back if needed, but I think centre back is where we're going to really need him. But yeah, apparently obviously he quit Sheffield United and nobody's really taken much of an interest in him since, so I'm looking forward to seeing what we can what happens with him and whether we decide to keep him on after that 2-year contract. Obviously 2 years is a long time. We could be in the Premier League by that point, so maybe he might not want to stick around if he doesn't think he's going to get much game time. But I'm looking forward to seeing what Kean Bryan can bring to the club, obviously providing a bit of further leadership and providing a bit of interest in that centre-back position. Obviously, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm looking forward to hearing. Sheffield United reactions are mixed, to be honest. Some people say that he's a very good Championship defender. Some people say that because he couldn't make it in the Premier League, he's pretty bad. So, yeah, Kean Bryan, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do, and obviously going to provide a really different perspective in the back line and obviously a bit of depth in a much-needed position for Albion. So, I'd rate the signing probably a 7 out of 10, considering our desperation in centre-back. Obviously, Cedric Kipre, I think, is going to step up against Millwall and play. and I think that's going to be really good for him to get involved in that. So that does bring me to the end of this Baggies podcast transfer update. Make sure you drop your comments and thoughts on Kean Bryan in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Make sure you're subscribing to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel, as of course we've got all the latest news, views and opinions on all things Albion. Make sure you're subscribing to get us to 1,000 subscribers, because that'd be absolutely fantastic. Comment your thoughts on Kean Bryan below, and I'll see you in the next video, which will be a preview to the Millwall game on Saturday, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.